Hello and welcome to our video on finding the volume of prisms and composite solids. Before we can look at finding the volume of prisms, we need to know and be really clear about what a prism actually is. Prisms are 3D shapes which can be placed so that they sit tall. See how this one's sitting nice and tall, and they have the same base and top shape for their faces. So if we look at the base of this one, it's a triangle, and the top is a triangle as well. That's when it's moved so that it's sitting nice and tall. This one here is a rectangular prism, and the base would be a rectangle, and the top is a rectangle as well, so that's a prism as well. All of these here are prisms. A cube is a type of prism with a square at the base and a square at the top. A pentagonal prism with a 5-sided pentagon on the base has the same pentagon on the top, and hexagonal with a 6-sided hexagon and a 6-sided hexagon on the top. We also find with prisms that all the other faces are rectangles. So if you look here, we've got the base and the top are the triangle, which gives it the name, and all the other faces, this front facing side is a rectangle, and the other two sides are a rectangle as well. All the sides on a rectangular prism are a rectangle, but looking at this one here, you can see rectangles for each side, and this one has rectangles for each side. That's how you can tell if something is a prism. A pyramid, like I have down here, pyramids are not prisms. They have a shape on the bottom, can be any shape at all, but then they come up to a point at the top. So they don't have that same shape at the top. They also, when you look at the other sides, apart from the base, the other sides are always a triangle in a pyramid. See, all these sides are triangles. Base is a pentagon, but it comes up to a point at the top, so there's no top face that is similar. In this video, we're going to be looking at volume for prisms only. So we're not going to look at pyramids. Cylinders are also a special type of prism with a circular at the base, a circular face at the base, and a circle at the top as well. Now, you might remember from previous years a formula to find the volume of a rectangular based prism, and you may have used this one before. Volume equals length by width times height. So for this example, length is 1, width is 2, and the height is 5. And we end up with 10. It's in centimetres, but it's volume, so it's centimetres cubed. So you might remember doing this in previous years. And what we're going to do is build on your knowledge that you had from previous years to look at how we can use one formula to find the volume of any prism or cylinder. And that formula, not formula, that formula is volume equals area of base times height. So this one formula will do you for a rectangular base prism, a cylinder, any type of the prisms we talked about at the start of the video. What you need to be able to do to get this base though is to make sure that it's sitting tall. So all of these ones are sitting tall. If you get a question that looks long and the base part is here, the shape, you need to make sure that you use this as the base. So you can turn it around in your mind so that it is a tall shape, so you know what the base is. or you might just be able to see that the shape is the base, not the rectangular sides, and use that in your formula. The height is always when it's standing tall. So it's that length, this length. For this one, it's going to be this length. And this one. If you're using this one, this is the base, and this long length here is the height. So you need to make sure you've got it turned around properly so you can read and use this formula properly. Let's look at an example. First one, find the volume of the following shapes. We have a rectangular based prism. Now we could go back and use our formula that you've used in previous years if you're comfortable with that one, because it works for a rectangular based prism. I'm going to show you two methods, one with the previous year's formula, one with the new formula. Either one works, you can use whatever you prefer. So this one is length times width times height. I've just written it there to remind you. Here's my working. Write the formula you've chosen first. Second step, substitute the values in. 3.5 times 10.6 times 7. Third step, evaluate using a calculator if you need to. And last step, this is all in millimeters, and it's volume, so it's going to be cubed. So that's our method 1. Method 2 is using our new formula, which I'll jot down here. Volume equals area of base times height. So again, first step is to write out the formula that you're choosing to use. Second step, substitute the values in. So we need to make this a tall prism, so this will become the base. So the area of the base is just going to be 7 times 3.5. And then we times it by the height, which is going to be this length, which is this one, 10.6. Put that into the calculator and you end up with the same solution we had to the previous problem. Let's try a more difficult one. I've got a cylinder here and we need to try and find the volume, so we can't use our formula we've used in previous years, so we need to use that new formula. First step, write out the formula you're going to use, area of base times height. Second step, substitute the values in. Area of the base is going to be the same as the top, and it's a circle. Our circle area formula is pi r squared. We just leave the times h there. Now we can substitute in values. Pi times 2 squared, and the height is 1.5. Put this into your calculator and you should end up with 18.85 centimeters, because these are centimeters, and it's volume, so it's cubed. Looking at the volume of composite shapes. The first thing you need to do, same as what we've been doing in all the other videos, is break the shape down into two smaller prisms, or more, two or more, and then you add the two volumes together. So I'm going to label mine. write out a formula. Total volume will equal the volume of A plus the volume of B. Volume of A is a cylinder. So the volume formula is area of base times height. And the volume formula for this one, I'll use area of base times height. For the cylinder, the area of the base is a circle. We need to find out what this radius is. So if we look down here, we know this whole side is 5. So half of that is going to be 2.5. Let's just, oh, hang on, I need area of base is an area of a circle, which is pi r squared. Area of this base is 5 times 5. Pi r squared is going to be pi times 2.5 squared times the height of the cylinder, which is 5. The height of this one is 5 as well. And when I put all of this into the calculator, I'm going to end up with 223.17. It's in meters, and it is volume we're working out, so it's cubic meters. Thanks for watching the video today.